All right, we are officially recording. Hello and welcome to the first in what's going to be a wonderful series. This is the Gel Success Series. I'm Dr. Melissa Grill-Peterson. For more than 15 years, I have specialized in helping other doctors and healthpreneurs create businesses and lives that they love. What I love is helping people truly be successful, to leverage their passion and to do great things. And tonight, I have a team of experts that are all phenomenal doctors, and we also have a health leader that's in the sales aspect of this industry. And we're going to hear from each and every one of them about the gel, SOMADERM's HGH gel, why they said yes to it, how they found out about it, what their experiences has been so far. Many of them are brand new to this industry. And so this call is for you tonight, whether you are currently a distributor and you're just looking for great pearls of knowledge, because I believe that success leaves clues. So whether you just want to pick up some great information to use in building your own business, or whether you're brand new and you're considering starting your own business or using the product, then keep watching tonight's call because you're going to love to hear from these experts. So I'm going to take a moment and I want to introduce each of our wonderful, talented doctors that we have, and we're going to get right in to really hearing their stories and diving deep with some great questions. So kicking it off, we have John Stupka, who has been in the field of health and wellness for over 20 years. He owned his own medical spa. That's where John and I met over, oh my goodness, 13 years ago, dating myself. At least. But he looks so good because we were in the med spa industry.
Right.
And John has been in medical sales. Not only has he owned his own integrative medical spa, but he's also been in the medical sales industry for over 20 years. John, we're so excited to have you here tonight. So welcome.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Melissa. I know we have a great panel tonight. And of course, she knows I am not a doctor, but I tell people I play one on TV sometimes. So, you know, I can take that role every once in a while. But seriously, my goal ultimately for every one of us here is to, if you're in a medical practice, is to really just offer any of my, knowledge and, a little bit of experience. I have about 15 years in medical distribution prior to opening my own medical spa. We got a few locations with the help of Dr. Melissa open back in the day, and just sold that in January, you guys, to be part of this, what I consider a great industry. Yep. And I believe full-heartedly in the network marketing industry when you can get a great product and a great opportunity lined up like this. So I've had a little bit of experience in network marketing with a prior company. Very, very pleased to have that experience because it was the fastest growing one in the world. And so I've imparted some of that knowledge with our team here and back into consulting as well. So I have about 150 practices that I help, really try to find ways that a practice can generate more cash-based procedures and, services. So my ultimate goal is to help some of the docs out there and medical practitioners who are feeling the pinch with, insurance-based medicine to just find some other revenue streams. And hey, guess what? SOMADERM Gel fits in there perfectly. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to hear what everybody says tonight.
I love it. What a great introduction. And, John is just a wealth of knowledge. So we're going to really look forward to getting to talk to you and hear more from you tonight, John, about just ways that people can really think about leveraging the relationship between reps and doctors and, the ways that we can scale. So thank you for being here. And next up, I want to introduce to everybody, Dr. Kevin Green. He is a medical doctor internist out of Connecticut. He's a best-selling author. He has multiple practices and just is dedicated to really helping to transform the health and the lives of so many people. And Dr. Kevin Green, we're so happy to have you here tonight. So welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of this panel. I'm honored. But HGH has been an incredible addition to my arsenal of preventive medicine treatment plans. It works in perfectly with the hormone replacement as thyroid and everything else I do. So I'm excited that you sent me that email back mid-July because it's been, it's helped a lot of my patients so far, including myself and my family members and all my friends. So
and we are going to talk about that. And one of the things you guys are going to want to make sure you keep listening to tonight is Dr. Kevin Green has actively been rolling out a system in his practice using this product. And so we have real metrics now, not only of clinical results that patients are seeing, but also financial results and some marketing that we've been doing. So you're gonna wanna make sure to stay tuned because we're gonna pick Dr. Kevin's brain and really bring some of that to light. So welcome, and Kevin, you've never done network marketing before, have you?
No, not at all. This is all brand new to me. Bought the book, got Eric Worre's book on audio. I listen to it wherever I go, listen in the gym, in the car, over and over again, and listen to you guys and John and anybody who's willing to help me out. So
awesome. Well, I can't wait to continue to learn from you tonight. So thank you so much for being here, Doc. We're happy to have you. Next on our panel, everybody, is Dr. Michael Wax. He is a doctor of chiropractic. He is the CEO of the largest injury network in the state of Georgia called the Injury Specialist. Dr. Wax and I go way back, even further than John and I'm really going to date myself if I go all the way back those many years. But it's been an amazing journey to know this incredible professional and human being. And what I can say personally for knowing him for so long is he is absolutely dedicated to vetting the best solutions, period, that help to actually get results for his patients as well as for his network. And I had the pleasure of being in practice with Michael. We had an integrative practice, an MD-DC, integrative functional medicine clinic, and we just did amazing things. And he continues to do that today. Every day he's out there consulting hundreds of doctors across the state of Georgia. And you are also new to network marketing, correct?
That is correct, Melissa. Thank you. Yeah, I have no background in it, and I'm like a lot of the physicians out there that are a little bit skeptical at first. And it was for the Godfather John who brought me into the fold. And quite frankly, to be honest, this has been a lot of fun. I have met not only some great people that are part of our Atlanta team, but also the extensions, the divisions off this team at the different events that I've attended. Lisa, our fairy godmother at the very top of our group, has just been a wealth of knowledge for me. And I'm excited to meet the other panelists and listen to what they have to say. But you know, I'm excited to be here. The product honestly is amazing, and I've got some really cool stories to share tonight. So I'm just going to sit back and wait for my turn.
Awesome. And you do have some really amazing stories. So if you guys want some tear jerkers, keep watching, like real deal, real stuff in a very short amount of time. So welcome, Dr. Wax. We're so, so glad you're here. Dr. Stephanie, I just lost you. I was just coming to you next on the video screen. And
I don't know how.
There she is. All of a sudden you went away. I was like, where did my girl go?
Hi.
All right, let's bring
here.
Wait a minute. I just lost you again. Hold on. Hold on. Where are you at? Where are you at? This is a funny screen. I don't know where she went. You disappeared on me.
It's like the Brady Bunch. I'm really here.
Right.
I know you are. Well, I've got Dr.
I'm like Jan.
Here you are. Got you. You're back. Okay, let's bring the video to you. Dr. Stephanie Rimka. All right. You are a true brain health expert. I mean, my gosh, lady, for close to, well, what, about 18 years now, you've absolutely been transforming the mental, emotional, physical health and well-being of so many people, not only in the state of Georgia, but really people come to see you from all over. You take the toughest of the tough cases, the ones that nobody can seem to help, and you help to really get people well. And I know this personally. I mean, we have many conversations about business success, and
Yeah,
you support your soul.
Stay in my office and who comes there, so yeah.
Well, here's what I'm excited to talk with you about tonight. And I think there's going to be a lot of providers that can really identify. You are like many of us, that you give every ounce and fiber of your being to your practice and to your patients. And you want it. You want it for them, and you will do whatever it takes. And yet, when we give and give and give so much of ourselves to our practices and to our patients, that can mean that there's not a whole lot of us to bring home. Not only physically and mentally and emotionally, but it can also begin to impact our bottom line. And I think that's what's been so exciting about this in a very short amount of time for you, is that it's really already created some significant revenue, and you've not even really done much. You've put out one video, and I want to talk about that tonight, that really kind of lit a fire and got people's attention. And now you're like just about to be, you know, you're on your way to coordinator and coach. You're rising really quickly in less than what, 3 weeks, I think, 3-4 weeks that you've been actively doing something with this, right?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks. I did a video 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm gonna blow it up.
Okay. So fantastic. So I know I kind of just talked all about you. Add in the gaps of what I've missed, because you're such a powerhouse. I just couldn't get it all in there.
Well, you know, I have a varied background, you know, clinically. So I would say the umbrella is functional medicine. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I was a talk therapist. I worked in a psychiatric hospital before with schizophrenic. So I specialize in psychiatric conditions. Even though I'm a chiropractor, I also do tons of labs and orthomolecular psychiatry, neurofeedback, so I'm board certified in that. So I really look at changing the structure and function of the brain on people. And I have to do that a lot of ways. And obviously hormones, thyroid, adrenal, the HPA axis is a major impediment to me healing brain disorders. Muscle mass I'm a very muscle-centric doctor. So this has been kind of answer to many prayers of how I can, not only for my own body, but for my patients, and how easy I'm going to make this now, because they can get very overwhelmed with how I approach them. But this is one thing that's going to eliminate a whole bunch at one time. So that's kind of where what I do. And like you said, I'll talk about that, but I kind of run an outpatient practice that really takes residential treatment type of people that I probably shouldn't be allowed to take care of, but I seem to get better all the time. And it's actually crushing me physically, emotionally, and financially. So I'm about to make a major change. And this is one of the reasons I can.
And I love that. And she just said, and this is one of the reasons that I can. And you said something else very powerful, Stephanie, Dr. Stephanie, that I'm hoping everybody heard. It's one product that's really helped to simplify. Yet,
absolutely.
And I want to talk.
Compliance is everything. Compliance is everything. I can get anybody well if they're compliant, but if I can't get them compliant, we have problems. This makes it a whole lot easier. Again, if I do like a Dutch test, a hormone panel, and you can, instead of 20 things to take or 7 things to take and pills and this and timing, it's hard for people to be compliant. Yeah. This is hitting a lot of stuff at the master level, and the whole thing goes down, like the pillar, and then everything, it gets where it needs to go.
So we could probably stop the interview right there, because that's pretty much the big thing for all of us to realize. Like, I love it that this is such a powerful formulation and blend. So I want to come back to you on the formulation, because you and I are so on point about what's really inside of this product and how powerful it really
is.
It is
very picky.
I love it. Yes,
exactly. I'm impressed. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and you are very picky with your products. And
I'm very elitist. I don't care.
So that's why we have
I love John Stupka.
That's why she's here. And now I'm so super excited. Thank you for being here, Dr. Stephanie. And now we are really excited. I've only got to meet this powerhouse dynamo, Dr. Kathy, who is a board certified family physician, and she integrates holistic medicine into her practice. She's got a focus on sexual wellness, and people come to see her to really help them to feel better, to look better, to perform better, and to feel better in their skin intimately on all levels. And we are so happy to have you here tonight. Dr. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you were telling me do you have several practices around Atlanta? Did I read that right in your bio?
Yes, but I just merged them all into one in Buckhead. So I'm located here right off Piedmont Road and Far Road. And
Great.
What I did was become more accessible to my patients. When I had the 3 practices, I was just spread too thin. And you know, we're trying to give information to such a wide spread of patients. But I realized I could do much better by myself in one place, with a focus on, you know, getting people healthy and seeing me one-on-one. Before I had nurse practitioners, PAs, now everyone sees me. So I can directly give them what they need and customize their, you know, healthy program.
I love it. Now, let me ask you, are you new to network marketing? Is this a new experience for you, saying yes to this product?
I did Amway, so I go way.
Oh.
Okay, so So that, you know what I want to make sure that we talk to you about tonight. So one of the things that we want to unpack with you, well, you know what, let's just jump into it, because we've got to hear from everybody. So I'm going to ask one of the first questions. So many of us that are on this panel tonight are brand new to this, with the exception of John, who's been with one other company, and he did some network marketing for around 18 months. And of course, we really want to help to highlight the fact to anyone watching this, this broadcast that it doesn't matter if you've never done this or you've done it for a long time, you can be successful in a very short amount of time. So I'd love to ask your perspective, coming from kind of a legendary company in the field of network marketing versus to this company, you know, what was it about this that made you really want to say yes to this opportunity?
It's the truth. It's a true fact that HGH, SOMADERM, exists to actually increase the growth factor or the growth hormone. And so if you can actually tangibly get an increase in your growth factor or your growth hormone without going through a prescription and the expensive routes, you know, the injections, you actually will feel better. So the truth is, you actually feel better. It's a true, simple homeopathic remedy to an old age problem that we cannot repair or address without going through that prescription phase. So without a prescription, being able to treat yourself and your friends and your families and your loved one, this is a no-brainer. It's a win-win situation.
Excellent. I love it. Well, thank you. And so is there a big comparison for you kind of right out of the gate of what your past experience was with another company versus what you're seeing within this company?
Well, number one, we're early. I love the fact that we're in early. Amway was age old, so, you know, it was around for a long time. But with this, it fits right now the age of the millennium, the millennials that really want a now answer. I tell you, the first time I tried this cream, I felt something within an hour. It's like my brain, the fogginess just cleared away. And my patients, I see their lab tests go up and I'm like, no freaking way can this do this so quickly. So I'm impressed because of results. So I'm a result-oriented doctor. I want to see numbers. I want to see results that make a difference in each of my patients' lives. And this is why I am doing this, because I actually see great results and can't wait to see more in the future. I just started last week, so I can't wait to see more.
I love it. Great. You are in the very beginning. So thank you. That's exciting. And I'd like to actually take this over right now to Dr. Kevin Green, because Doc, you are rolling this out in your practice. And I've been asking people, make sure they keep watching, because I want to really talk about the systems. And then I want to get to come over, Michael, then I've got a few of you my brain is working on. So let's talk about how you are integrating this into your day-to-day brick and mortar, and how by doing that, it's impacting patient results and residual income.
Well, I had to, seeing so many patients during the day, I had to create a system there I can educate my patients. So the first thing I did was I bought, I have two locations, so I bought a banner for the waiting room. So at least when the patients are sitting there, they're looking at it, they're researching it, and then I needed some, I'm big on pamphlets, I'm big on rack cards. So I never want to feel like I'm selling the patient a product. I just want to educate them and let them decide based on my recommendations and then on what educational materials I'm giving them. My one example before this was Zymogen. My Zymogen has a beautiful website, and I have my Zymogen order sheet, and I say, these are the supplements I recommend. Please go on the Zymogen website. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and order. So now I have, with the help of you and my marketing landing page, as well as John's friend, and I got my rack cards. So I basically have a banner that's in the waiting room, so people are noticing it. They're thinking about it. Then I have, next to the banner, I have my brochures. And then once I'm in the office with the patient, I basically go through everything that I'm used to going through. And then I tell them, oh, and by the way, there's this new product out there. And I spend the next probably 30 seconds to 45 seconds, maybe even a minute, where I'm talking about the product and how this is something that we've lost once we hit peak the 20 out of our system by 25, and all the great things that it does. The nice thing is that I can tell them that I'm on it, that my wife's on it, and that some of the experiences that I'm feeling personally, but then I hand them over on my brochure is the website that you created for me. And I say, just go on the website, and if you feel it's something that you would benefit from, I recommend it, but it's ultimately up to you because it's money that you have to spend. And then that's it. So from a business perspective, let me back up. From a doctor's perspective, I know what I'm doing. I want them all on the gel. If it was free, they'd all be on the gel because I know what growth hormone will do and complements all the other modalities. So I know that I want them to be on it, but then from a business standpoint, they're going onto the website, and then I just wait for the emails to come in that night, which is pretty exciting to see. Congratulations, this one signed up, this one signed up, this one signed up, this one bought it, etc. I literally started this, I had all my materials 3 weeks ago. So I started this 3 weeks ago. I have patients literally coming in, begging me, where is it? Can I buy it? Can I get it off the, do you have it here? And I'm like, not yet. So I have no qualms or reservations about buying my cases when they're available in January or December, because I already know my patients want it then. They want it now. So in a matter of 3 weeks of me just seeing my patients in my everyday life and then recommending it and sending them off with the card and telling them, please go on the website, I've signed up 40 people so far. And of those 40 people, I've gotten 4 patients who actually went to the bottom of the website, and I mentioned it to them. I said, by the way, this is if you're interested, there's a business opportunity involved. I'm not going to spend time in their medical visit to explain it. I said, it's at the bottom of the website if you want to take a look at it. And my patients signed up. I get them to you, and literally it's been that simple. But it's simple because of what I've been provided. The banner, John told me, get the banner. Get the banner with my rack cards, with my brochures, and then literally 30 seconds. And I'm just started, like I'm just getting rolling. Now I'm getting the feedback, my energy, doc, my energy, my this, my that, to the point where I bought this whole body composition analysis machine, hired a tech, and basically said, here we go. You're going to start HGH. I'm going to get a baseline on you. We're going to get your fat mass. We're going to get your body, your muscle composition. And we're going to actually see this is what it's supposed to do. But I'll tell you what, we're going to show you. I'm going to prove it that you're going to feel great. I know that, but I'm going to show you what it's going to do. And then it leads me into, by the way, there's diet, exercise, there's other supplements, other hormones. So.
Yeah. And I love it. And so here's what I want to do. I want to take a minute and I want to just kind of distill down for everybody in case you're listening, you're multitasking. Kevin, Dr. Green is also being a little understated. So like there's a real succinct methodology. He said, I know this stuff works. So before he even started, we had to wait for the gel to come in, right? He's like, I know this stuff works. I understand that human growth hormone is like the master hormone in the body. I understand how regenerative it is, how restorative it is. I understand the role of the adrenals and the thyroid. I get it. I get what's supposed to happen. He's got a hormone practice. And we're going to talk to Dr. Kathy in a moment about her hormone practice. And he said, I want to make sure that we've got the biometrics in place so we can show people. Because here's something I want to make sure to point out, and our doctors, I'm sure, will help to give us some insight on this. Symptoms, we all think every day what we're feeling is the end-all be-all, but it's not at all an indicator of what is truly happening beneath the surface. And so biometrics, collecting actual data, that includes everything from blood work, getting on a bioimpedance scale, looking at fat mass, lean muscle mass, BMI, taking your pulse, doing your blood pressure, simple metrics that we as doctors use in our clinical practice, these are real clinical levels that tell us that things are improving or getting better or getting worse. And so when you actually measure your metrics, and as just an individual distributor out there that's not a doctor, or an individual user that you're like, I'm just using this, or I'm thinking about using it, you can do something as simple as a wearable device like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. If that doesn't jive with you and you're not sure how you feel about that, then just get a bioimpedance scale so you can at least look at some metrics and you can see how your body is changing beneath the surface every day. And that is part of the process that Dr. Green is using. The other thing that's happening is literally the flyers, the trifold brochures that we've made for him, he's making sure that his tech tees him up, does the biometrics, hands the brochure to the patient, and lets them know, based on your findings, Dr. Green typically recommends this. He'll be in a minute to talk to you about it. Dr. Green comes in and says, you would be a great candidate for this. Here's where you go on the website to buy it. Boom. They leave that night. He gets a confirmation in his inbox that they've bought it. So he's created a very, very simple internal system in his brick and mortar to help give his people access to this product without it being on the shelves.
It actually works both ways. The HGH is creating the HGH is putting the patient on the HGH. I'm having them use my other ancillary testing, but it's all part of this major workup. So, and now when they're doing the ancillary testing that comes back abnormal, I say, well, guess what else can help you? HGH. So from a business standpoint, HGH is driving my other ancillary testing, which is I have a MET test. I do cardiopulmonary exercise testing. I do ANS. I do autonomic nervous system impedance testing. I do all that stuff. So if you're going to go on the HGH, I'm going to do this bit. I do it anyways, and then when you have now another part of my treatment, when you have an abnormal ancillary testing, is the HGH. So when they talk about the 5 ways to get paid through the business, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm never going to sell this stuff. But I'm out there telling all you out there that have a business, that have clients, whether they're medical patients or I have a great story where I spent one of my favorite patients for the last 20 years. And I went through the cardiac and I went through all the medical stuff with this woman. And at the very end, I literally said, oh yeah. And it increases. And she's looking at me, just listening, not agreeing to anything, no answer. And then when I said it increases her collagen and her wrinkles will go away, she's like, I'll buy that right now. That was it. I'm like, well, what about, all right, well, forget about the car, forget about all the other stuff. Yes. So, I mean, as far as when you own a business, when you have access to patients, when you have access to clients, whether it's a beauty salon, whether it's just clients in general who basically just feel lousy. Just today, I had a patient who forgot to sign up on AutoShip, and he's been out of it for a week. And he said, you know what? He goes, at first I said, he didn't feel that he felt much from it until he was off it for the past 7 days. He goes, I feel terrible right now. He goes, I need my gel. So I went and I had to get it out of my trunk. I'm like, here, I go, get on AutoShip. So it's really a product it's phenomenal.
That people want. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that, Dr. Green. So Dr. Wax, talk to me a little bit about, you're an incredible businessman. You're new to network marketing and you've owned brick and mortars and you consult hundreds of doctors that do have brick and mortars. Talk to me about really why you have become kind of an advocate of this product to your peers, to other health professionals.
Well, I guess I'm the only doctor on the panel who has retired from practice. And so I don't have the same daily grind that I used to have when I did have multiple practices. And so in my current position as the injury specialist, which is a giant network of physicians all over the state of Georgia, hospitals, surgical centers, imaging centers, we're treating patients in pain. And so our foundation and the things that we do are all pain-based. And since the opioid crisis has been such a hot topic everywhere, it really can't go too far and not talk about it on any news channel or in any news media. I am actually doing some lectures related to this and some talks related to this. And so if given the opportunity to present patients and practices an option to eliminate or alleviate or a alternative plan to help patients in acute pain or chronic pain, I think that's a winner. And so as I have this giant network and physicians of all levels, what's been apparent for years as practitioners, we have all been looking, it doesn't matter if you're a neurosurgeon or a chiropractor or a pain management doctor, everybody's looking for ancillary income. Everybody's looking to get away from the insurance company who's lowering the reimbursements on a yearly basis. And quite frankly, it costs a lot of support staff time and money to chase the insurance companies down on the payments that the doctors are owed. So doctors are reaching out, not just to my platform, but to everything they can to bring in a revenue stream and an option to eliminate the patient's need for opioids and possibly other options, because this obviously isn't just pain related, but this is a great source. It's a great, you know, people do respond to when you say, hey, I've got something that could alleviate or help with some of those symptoms. They're very much interested, especially because if you've ever dealt with pain, and I had just 2 weeks ago re-injured my lower back in jiu-jitsu, and I was suffering, but I'll be honest with you, I've never seen a faster recovery. I recovered in a week and a half and I had searing pain down my right leg. My right leg pulled up immediately after I injured myself, and I was down for the count. And I went back to competitive jiu-jitsu this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And I got to tell you, I mean, you know, I am wrestling around with 20, 25-year-old, 30-year-old men and women that are more athletic, stronger in many cases, and have more technique. And I'm holding my own. And I got to tell you, this gel, from an optimal performance standpoint, is pretty phenomenal. And from a pain relief standpoint, it's already just helped me again. So
love it. I love it. Thank you. That's great insight. And I know we're going to come back and get another one of your great stories here momentarily. So thanks for sharing that one with us for sure. Now, John, I want to ask you, because again, you've worn many hats in this integrative health and wellness space over the last 15 years or so. And you also have spent some time in network marketing, about 18 months. You know, so I want to ask you, what was different about this, and what would you say the biggest question is that you get across the board from other health and wellness professionals that you can shine some light onto today for us?
Sure. No, thank you. You know, I had, and really right out of college, I had the same job until I opened my practice, which was setting up practices, being a consultant, a distributor rep, and everything from a Band-Aid to a full laboratory and surgery center that we'd help set up. So I had a chance to meet all types of specialties. And, you know, I think with that experience, it gave me, you know, a good ground to then, you know, have the bright idea to be Mr. Entrepreneur and open my own medical spa. And as physicians, you know, I watched so many doctors that I would, you know, service for their supplies. You know, you don't go to school for business. You know, you go to school to be phenomenal caregivers and, you know, educators. And, you know, I think that was always the biggest challenge. You know, I'd go into some of these offices where these doctors were working so hard, and at the end of the day, sometimes not bring a paycheck home, you know. And then I opened my own medical spa and had the exact same experience, you know. And so I always, you know, now being back into consulting, I really feel I've walked on pretty much every side of the road. I always knew, you know, there was probably something that we could leverage all these relationships and find something better. I'm not saying that maybe network marketing is the best solution for people from a business opportunity, but I think it's a better way. And, you know, I do think that most of the time it's just, a lot of times people have misperceptions of the industry. I think that's changing. I think it's changing because of right now what's happening on this call. And you're seeing some really fantastic people, some very successful people, but they obviously see this as another avenue to provide some type of support for whether it's themselves, their family, whatever that is. We all have, you know, that compelling why. And so I know a lot of doctors, just like myself, we're all just people. You know, I know doctors are just like everyone else and have the same desires and needs, and probably it's to choose more time freedom, you know. And when you're, you know, seeing so many patients a day, because, you know, especially if you have a lot of insurance, you have to see even more and sometimes make less money. So a lot of the questions that I get, you know, just in this space is really, you know, is this for real? You know, can I really make something out of this? Can I really make an income that's going to make a difference for, you know, for me, first of all, for my business. And I think there's some really creative ways you can even help and consult with your medical practices, or even any business that if you want to be a consultant in this business and grow as a distributor or a consultant, I like to call us, is to go in and help, you know, that doctor. You know, we talked to Kevin mentioned about just having educational support, having those simple materials that can do the education and the talking, so to speak, you know, for the doctor and the staff, and help support them, but also even helping create a creative strategy in the practice. You know, I think it's really smart for the doctor to, or medical practitioner that has, you know, the patient or clientele base, to set themselves up first. If you have a staff that you want to engage with the opportunity, I so recommend that. When I was involved with my other network marketing business, we had it in our practice. And when I brought it in, I went to the staff and I said, hey, we had our physician assistant, you know, our patient coordinator, front desk, and a couple aesthetic providers and massage therapists. I said, this is what we're doing. This is going to be a great, great product offering. It's great results. There's clinicals, you know, clinicals with this. And we had, I gave them a week. I said, whoever wants to jump in on this, I'm all for helping you build some residual income outside of the business, because, you know, my front desk girl, she had recently had a divorce, 2 kids, she was single. I knew that a little extra income was really, really important, because I could only pay her 14 or 15 bucks an hour. And her first month, she made $800 residual income with the darn network marketing business. So it's there to be had. And then we set the business up as another account under anybody that joined to participate. So everybody in the staff was engaged to, you know, share the information, educate the patients and clients coming in, because they were all taking part in the opportunity as well.
So John, you just said something. I want to make sure I'm understanding this right. Now, this, of course, was with a different company, but he's using this as an example so that you guys can know what is possible with this company and this product, which is a hybrid setup. But think of it as, you know, when we set up a team, it's a binary. So there's kind of one on the side and one on the side, your right and your left. So if I'm understanding, you knew that you were saying yes. And so any of you tonight that have already said yes to this opportunity, and you own your own business and you've got some employees that work for you, you could be saying, how do I want to really set this up and leverage it? What you did was you went to your team first and said, hey, I've said yes to this. Here's what this is. If you're interested, you can have a week to jump on board and I'll help to get you guys ramped up. And then once you let everybody sign in, then you put the business under that team leg so they all benefited from that?
No, you bet. So anytime
that's a
product
great idea. That's a really smart idea.
Yeah, and what I love about this is such a unique, great compensation plan, because it is so simple, because it's a binary. It's so easy to put everybody in a line like that. And so you think about when these commercial pack comes out, and you guys can, as businesses, put it on your shelf. You know, your staff, if they're set up in the scenario that I just mentioned, how excited are they going to be to want to help, you know, move that product and help those clients or patients, and because everybody's going to benefit. And, you know, even if that team member leaves to go pursue another option, they could still be building their NewULife business outside, and you're still benefiting that as the person that introduced them to more the physician or the, you know, professional. So I think it's a win-win to not only, you know, empower your staff, but also show them that you're trying to take care of them.
And I love that. I mean, that's a really beautiful approach, because oftentimes in our industry, the most valuable assets in our business are our front desk, our MAs, our CAs, our techs, our people that are answering the phones and cleaning up and doing all the grunt work, and they get paid the least. And it's not that we want to pay them the least. It's like when you've got all the overhead and all the malpractice and all the things that come with running a business, you know, there's very specific pay ranges, right, for those positions. And so I love what you're saying also, is to remind the owner. So for any of you out there that are in an ownership position, potentially, of owning your own practice, this becomes a really great way to give them an opportunity to be in control of their financial freedom. So they're still going to get a great paycheck coming in and working for your team. But now you guys, it's one more thing that synergizes all of you, Because if we think about it, typically the business owner takes all the risk. The employees show up, hopefully because they love what they're doing, but they're punching a clock, they do their part and they're out. And at the end of the day, all the responsibility of the business still weighs on the owner's shoulders. But if you can give your team members ownership, right? Give them a piece of the business, so to speak, a portion of an opportunity within the business, they become more vested. And it sounds like that's what you saw at your med spa when you did this with the last setup.
Definitely. And, you know, they were happy, you know, that not only they knew they had a great product, this is, you know, just like this with this gel. I mean, this is even more powerful because this meets the need of that one product that we had, plus another probably 30 things that this can do. And just my note to those that own their own practice or those entrepreneurs that own their own business, you know, I knew that I wanted to find a transition of a way to move out of my practice at some point, and there may be others on the line like that. It's not going to happen overnight, but you can put a strategy in place and start to build something like this to where, you know, I was able to find a buyer. You know, I was able, you know, I had to, you know, put in some late nights and, you know, whatever it took, but I knew that this could be a good way to offer me more of what I see in this part of my life journey right now, which is, you know, really more freedoms. And so if there's entrepreneurs and other business owners that sometimes we don't know, you know, I feel like they're shackled sometimes to their business. I was there, I know, you know, this is a potential, you know, a pathway, you know, I think, you know, so, and I'm happy to help.
Wonderful. So I want to ask you one more question about revenue. Dr. Kathy, I'm coming to you in just a moment, and I want to talk about, we're going to really talk about hormones for a moment. We're going to talk about the importance because you are one of our hormone experts on tonight's panel. We've got a couple of questions around hormones, so I'm going to ask one or two of those. So I'm coming to you in a moment, my dear. And then Dr. Stephanie, I'm going to come to you, and I want to talk specifically about the ingredients, the quality of the ingredients, just so everybody watching and listening, you know that we're getting to all of this. So please keep listening. There's so much, and I want to do my best. Here's my goal for all of us. It's 8:15. I want to go 15 more minutes to honor the hour. We'll stay on as long as you guys want to stay on. We'll take questions, but I want to make sure in the next 15 minutes, we give you all some very tactical and practical ideas and understandings. I want to come back to Dr. Wax and get a story, you know, if you've got one for us. I know Dr. Stephanie does. So we got a lot to cover in 15 minutes, so I'm going to ask us all to try to do this. But John, something that I know is super important for everybody listening. So Dr. Wax, Dr. Kathy, Dr. Stephanie, even Dr. Green are still, in the scope of things, relatively new to this industry and to this opportunity. They're all making great things happen. Yet you've been in it the longest out of anybody on the panel within this company. I'd like to hear real numbers. So there's kind of this huge range, you know, so for the other product that you worked with, your front desk was able to make $800 of residual income in 1 month. Let's talk numbers for a moment, because I want to, you know, Kevin and I last week, we were running numbers, and I was looking, and he just started this system and the handoff. And Kevin, am I allowed to share really quickly? Just, is it okay? He turned my, I don't know. He just turned off his phone. I don't know if I got in trouble. Can I share? Okay. So you guys, in 1 week, and all they did was just start to hand out the brochures. I want to say it was $425 in commission, just commission. And it, you know, it wasn't hundreds of patients. They saw, I think it was maybe 30 patients that they talked to, and not all 30 signed up, but most of them did. And they made about $425 in 1 week. So I'm like, let me just do some simple math. Let's just say $400 a week, call it simple. Let's say that's an extra $1,600 a month. That's almost an extra 20 grand a year that the practice is not otherwise making. And that's without really a ton of effort. That's with a few pieces of marketing material. That's not with doing anything else. And I think that we all, you were saying everybody's got their why. And sometimes for us, it does become financial, right? You had a front desk lady who had recently gone through a divorce, and $800 extra for her made a significant difference, is what I'm hearing. So give us some ideas, because You know people in the upline, you know how many diamond ambassadors there are in this company, you know how quickly people are becoming 5, 6, and 7-figure earners, and this company isn't even a year old. So can you help people who are maybe sitting back going, is this for real? Because you hear that all the time, is what you shared for me. Is this for real? So give us some examples of what what really is possible with this business opportunity.
You bet. Well, definitely, even just on the retail side, I think what's so unique with having the ability to offer this to our clients, our patients, as a retail product, you know, even right now, you know, you set up your account tonight, you can sell off your website 5 seconds later, you know, with a banner and a brochure like Dr. Kevin's doing. But once we already even have the tangible product on the shelf, you know, things are really going to fly. And so, you know, even just looking at the commission on a retail product, you know, $45 a bottle, and this is going to even have a better profit margin once we have that $89 price and sell it for $169 on the shelf. That's tremendous profit. You don't see that with network marketing products. You do not. I know for a fact that at the most, so a lot of times you can maybe get 30 to a little bit more higher margins. So when you can get a really good margin on something that has a 90+% reorder rate, I mean, it's a home run. And so there are opportunities just if you were to retail this that, you know, 10 patients a week, that's probably $1,800+ in retail revenue, you know, retail income. How much of your rent could that go towards? You know, what else could that start to pay? And if you start to think of like those types of things, and then, you know, you have the opportunity. I would recommend when somebody is educated on this product at the office, please train your staff to help facilitate them going ahead and buying it there in the office on the website. Because if we have our patient, oh, here's our link. Sometimes patients get busy. I mean, I know I do. And so you want to, you know, see if you can get your front desk person engaged and get them to help facilitate. Patient has a credit card, they can order it right there and you can recommend the auto ship potentially. But, you know, the money is there, you guys. I can tell you right now, even for myself, you know, just at the life coach level, you know, it's easily, without getting real specific in numbers, because you have to be careful with that, but it's usually easily over, you know, 1,500 to a week or so. I know that there's people on our team right above me that are, you know, already into 5 figures. So it's real money. And it's because there's so much excitement around this product. And so I think for everybody to know, there's 5 ways, like Kevin said, to get paid. You know, understand at least what those are, and then everybody has to do the same thing, one on one side, one on the other, to grow your downline.
And I think it's really important. Thank you for that, John. I want to just take a moment because
I just want to jump in and say that with me not knowing anything on how to do this, you have been helping me the past couple of weeks, you and John. Right now, I set up a whole bunch of all my different businesses, but I have now, my auto ship is, I have 10 bottles coming to me a month. So that's $1,400. I'm making that now, minimum a month. So if anything, now what I've made being an amateur and not really positioning my people correctly, that was in the past, not now, I have an extra 8, 9 bottles to then pick and choose who I want to send that, who I want to give that to, who's going to then build my business underneath me. So it's coming back. So now, just where I am now, I basically bring it in. I have enough for 10 bottles, and then I use those bottles to basically grow the practice with, I hand it out with and tell them to try it and get back to me. So that's the other positive, is that now you're giving out samples without it coming out of my pocket. You're paying for your own and for the other, and for all your potential businesses below you as you're building your business as a professional multi-level marketer.
I love it. And so I do want to take a moment and recognize that we've got a variety of people tuning in with us on this evening. Everybody that are from doctors to medical reps, nutraceutical reps. We've got potential consumers, people that their doctor has talked to them about this product and they wanted to be on tonight to learn more. So I want to shift gears for a moment. And I know we've been talking about the business opportunity. So if you're watching tonight and you're really wanting to learn more about the product and how it works and how to apply it, We're going to go into that right now because it does actually create some really powerful health transformative results. The business opportunity, we've had a lot of questions coming in about that, and that's why that leg of the conversation went there, because it is important to know. I like to refer to it as there is an incredible opportunity here to improve both your physical health as well as your financial health. And so it's okay wherever you're at in that spectrum, whether you want one, you want the other, or you want both. That's why we wanted to make tonight's panel filled with nuggets of all of that information so that it can provide immense value to you, the listeners, on the Gel Success Series. So I want to take a moment and I want to talk quality of product. Dr. Stephanie Rimka, I want to come over to you for a moment. Let's talk about this blend of what is in this product and why you, I believe you called, you said earlier, you're very discerning, or you've got high standards. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about why you, as a doctor with the highest of standards with the type of ingredients, said yes to this, and you actively are endorsing it to your patients. Why and how does this formulation work to your understanding?
Well, a patient brought it to me and asked me to review it, as they bring lots of things. They say, well, I know you're going to look at this. I'm like, okay. So I looked at it and I kept looking at it, and this was months ago, and I kept looking at it and I'm like, I'm like, can you get me some? So I'm right. So, and why I was loving it, right? So part of it, very briefly, we'll say that, the FDA registration, and I think it's that NDC or whatever, that drug code, whatever that is, that number, what goes into that to become a homeopathic medicine, actually. So this is a supplement, but really in homeopathy, we would call this a medicine. And I'm not a doctor, a homeopathic expert, but I've dabbled in it for over 20 something years and use that kind of stuff on my son, as a mother and a doctor, and that's the kind of doctors I use for him. So to get that is a big deal. The standards that go into the quality of the products that go into getting homeopathic certification, it's not easy. And knowing the things here are, they're US grown, that matters a lot to me. A lot of Chinese medical doctors are no longer using herbs and things, even though they love herbal medicine. They're becoming so tainted from other sources that we don't know how to trust what's in something, and if there's a toxic substance in some of these herbs. So what's going into this product, we have whole leaf herbs. So whole leaf is a big deal. It's not some fractionated particle, and it's US grown. So our standards of toxins and poisons and testing are all in place. So that right there was huge to me. The concept of the glandulars are used in homeopathic medicine, how things are titrated down. I love homeopathy. It's the law of similar. Basically, it's been around for hundreds of years. It's why you can do very, very, very little to the body. And what it's doing, the opposite of medication, of Western medication, of just changing the body. This honors the body. This says, here, this is what you're supposed to do. Let me remind you. Let me nudge you. And the body says, oh, a little bit goes a long way. A little bit does a whole lot more than a whole lot. Too much suppresses the body. Too much, injectable HGH will start to shut down your body's own production even further, right? It's why if you go on thyroid meds, let's say, and it's okay to be on thyroid meds, but typically your meds are going to have to go up and up and up, because you're not stimulating your thyroid to work better. You're not stimulating hormone sensitivity in your cells or your receptors. You're just giving more hormone. This is stimulating. It's a signal molecule. And again, organic products are in there. There's whole leaf products in there. It's US sourced. The numbers on everything made sense to me. I was like, I'm definitely trying it. So that's where I was with that. And again, homeopathy is brilliant and genius. Americans just don't understand it.
Let's talk for a moment, because one of the questions that we've got, and I think this is a perfect kind of teeing it up for you and what's in here. And I don't know, let me see. What's the best way to do it?
Well, let me add this. And because there was the thyroid and the adrenal along, I think that gets underplayed. I think that's what makes this so remarkable.
I agree. I'm really glad you said that. I didn't want to spoon feed anybody. That's my personal, when I personally saw the formulation, I was like, okay, they get it. Like,
that's not just HGH. This is badass HGH.
Yeah, this is badass HGH. I love it. Fantastic. Straight from Dr. Stephanie's mouth. Dr. Kathy. I love it. Dr. Kathy, so another one of our hormone experts. Let's talk for a moment about, you know, the formulation. So you've just recently brought this into your practice. So where are you seeing the role of this product and this formulation in sexual health and wellness for your patients? Because I know that's your area of specialty.
Well, you have to, first of all, you know, customize it for the patient, depending on what they're coming in for. What disease, what ailment? Is it a cancer? Is it an autoimmune disorder? Is it pain? Is it fatigue? Is it something simple? So depending on the severity of the disease, that's where this has a major role. And to be honest, everyone can start on it. It is not going to harm anyone. There is no side effect per se, unless, of course, you have some allergic reaction, which is very, very, very rare at this point. But right now, it is safe to say that it's safe, and a lot of patients will benefit from it and actually use it to replace actual hormones. Some people do not need hormones. Some people just need a little boost in their hormones. And I'm seeing evidence on their lab tests. The lab tests are showing, without any external hormones, they're showing increase in their levels. It's blowing me away. I don't understand. How is this such a small amount of the precursor to HGH able to boost significantly so much? And it's the absorption, it's the way it's formulated. And again, I'm looking forward to doing more work and studying it more and doing more research on this product.
I love it. Excellent. And something I want to point out to everybody tonight, so, and we're going to start taking questions in a moment here, is that as Dr. Stephanie said, this product does have the FDA registration. And so if you're not familiar with what that process is, it took over 7 years for the company to have this product evaluated. The product has been around for 14 years. It's been used by thousands of people. It has thousands of testimonials, so it's not brand new to market. It's been around, and the formula has been tried, tested, and proved. What the FDA registration process looks like is that for over 7 years, they were only allowed to make 10,000 units per month. And what had to happen is that each of those units, every month for 7 years, had to be assessed and analyzed. And they had to ensure that there were no side effects, no complaints lodged against this product during that period. So what does FDA registration mean? It means the product has been evaluated for safety and efficacy. And that's not just these doctors standing here tonight and talking about this. That is the government looking at it with the highest regulations. The next thing that Dr. Stephanie mentioned was the NDC code. And we might, she's kind of like, she knew it was important, but she's kind of like, that code. And it was actually John Stupka that helped to really kind of point out the importance of that code, which means that this product cannot be sold on Amazon or eBay. Oftentimes, from what I've learned from these experts, is that in network marketing, a lot of, and not just network marketing, in retail, period, today, a lot of products, a lot of fakes are made in a lot of places around the globe, and they are passed off as the real thing on Amazon and a lot of other places. When you see something that seems to be too good to be true, it's $150 everywhere else, and all of a sudden you find it like on eBay or an Instagram feed or Amazon for $35. Don't buy it. Don't do it, because it's not the real thing. But what the NDC code means is that they can't sell it anywhere else. So that also gives us another level of efficacy, validity, and if you're looking at this as a business opportunity, it also gives you some support and backing by the company, which is really nice, because they're protecting the integrity of your business to protect the integrity of their business, which I think is also really, really nice. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to go down through some of the questions. I want to reinforce that the big takeaways so far tonight for these doctors that we're hearing is, John mentioned this, Dr. Wax mentioned this, I know I heard it, maybe it was Dr. Green as well, but it's a new company. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Dr. Kathy, because she was talking about Amway. This company is less than a year old, and it is still new, meaning she told us, hey, Amway's been around for a long time. There wasn't really a lot of opportunity. It's a new company with unlimited opportunity right now for those that are interested in getting involved, okay? But success leaves clues, as I said earlier, and nothing comes about unless we help to bring it about. Meaning your energy, your enthusiasm, your interest is a necessary ingredient to getting the momentum going to actually create a fun and exciting business. So it's a new company. It's a single product. Dr. Stephanie spoke to this. This is huge for any provider out there. She talked about compliance. She said to us, I can get any patient well as long as they are compliant. I know, let me hear from all my doctors out there, you know, give me a big heck yes about that. And to any of my health coaches, for any of us that are out there helping to change the health and the lifestyle behaviors of a client, it requires compliance. And too many things become too many things. And although a person may have the best intentions of wanting to do them all, they can't. They have busy lives, they have a lot going on. So this one product gives them one step, one solution that really hits a lot of major components in the overall physiology of the body. And it works with every cell. Every cell has a hormone receptor site. So one product, brand new company, huge opportunity, one of the fastest growing. And we're seeing clinically everything from biometrics to labs. Our doctors are saying hands down that this is getting results. Dr. Wax, as a jiu-jitsu wrestler for many, many years, and I've seen him get injured and it take over a month from one injury with the best therapies, the best treatments, the best care, the best injections, you name it, he's done it over the years. And with 10 days, he was back out there, doing it again. So let's go to some questions. And to my docs, I'm going to let you guys raise your hand and tell me who wants to answer what. Starting at the top, we've got a lot here. Anybody who doesn't want to stay on, we're just appreciative that you guys were here tonight. If you want to learn more, then by all means, follow up with the people that helped to bring you here tonight. You can visit Gel Success Stories to watch the replay of this. If you're interested in some of the marketing materials that were mentioned tonight, you can go to getthegelmarketing.com. If you're interested in more training, you're a distributor, you're new, you're wanting to learn more, you can go to getthegeltraining.com. Everybody here is dedicated to helping you all grow and thrive. So here we go. First question. Hey, I'm wondering why 5 days on, 2 days off? Docs, who wants to take this one? Dr. Stephanie.
I mean, it's because it's homeopathic. Again, Americans, Western medicine, we're very trained in a microwave medicine. We want an instant fix, like 30 minutes, take a Tylenol, headache's gone 30 minutes. Homeopathics cannot have a continuous signal constantly. The greatest example everybody does wrong here is echinacea. They take it all the time. That's not how you're supposed to take it. It will no longer help your immune system. You have to have breaks. So we're stimulating your body's own endocrine system to produce its own hormones. This is not taking an obscene amount of hormone. It's making your body 20 years old again. I'm all about being 20 years old again. You gotta have, I'm rolling up on 50 soon. I'm not having it. So the 5 days on, the 2 days off, it allows that. You can't have a constant signal. You stop the signal, your body rejects, then you get the signal again, and you stop the signal. The body, you have to honor its own internal mechanisms. And if you don't do that, typically what people end up doing is they gain a little weight because they're holding water, because HGH is notorious for water retention. So this eliminates that. And people will say that, I'm getting like, it's because you did it 7 days in a row, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, stop doing that. So it's homeopathy.
I'm so glad that you just said,
system.
I'm glad you said that, Dr. Stephanie, and I want to go, there's another question further down in the thread, but this is the exact answer they need to hear, and you can speak to this as well. I have a distributor that's been on the gel for the past 6 weeks. She is dosing 2 blueberries in the morning and 2 blueberries in the evening. Too much. And she's been on keto for the past 10 months, and weight is stable. She's gained 6.5 pounds since starting the gel. Any reason for this? She wants to stick with the gel, but is concerned that she will continue to gain weight.
I anybody, I can answer it, but.
Well, it's really what you just said. So I just want you, I'm
some water, and it could be muscle mass. I mean, let's be real. I got muscle. I didn't know. I'm like, am I looking ripped? What's going on? And then my ex-husband was like, girl, what are you doing? I was like, right. And he bought bottles. So for real, in 5 minutes, I was like, look at this. And he's like, give me the number. Right. So, but it's water probably. I do some large dosing like that, to be honest, but if somebody's not sleeping well, initially, they get too much energy, they're retaining water, the dose is too high, and we back them down.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to comment is sometimes people take this too late at night. And I've done this 3 times to test the theory. No, I didn't want to test the theory. I got really excited at the event, and I rushed back to the room at 11 o'clock at night, and I put it on, and then I didn't sleep till 6 in the morning. So what I will tell you is that if it's affecting your sleep, which is also going to help to retain water, because now you've upset your sleep cycle. So there's a couple different things that could be causative here. You just don't know what the other person is doing with detail. So I think the question gives us, we try to give it the best answer, but there may be some other things. I personally don't recommend for some people to take this past maybe 6 at night to not upset their sleep cycle. But other people that I've talked to have no problem sleeping with it. So I think it's more, you're going to test yourself, but I would not recommend taking this right before bed, as you may drive your adrenal glands a little bit crazy in the evening. So, cortisol.
Yes, absolutely. So dosing really matters with this, gang. And I'm going to chime in for a moment because there are a lot of similar questions around dosing and, you know, kind of the what and the why and the how. So Dr. Stephanie has mentioned this repeatedly. This is homeopathy. This is not hormone replacement therapy. This is, I like to refer to it as hormone signaling therapy. It's a very different mechanism. And we are all used to, just like Dr. Stephanie said, this idea of, you know, we take almost like more is better, right? More is better. So if a little is good, a lot must be like the best. And less is more with this approach. So it does become really important to recognize the hormone stays active 4 to 6 hours in the body. It is recommended. The founder of the company and the biochemist, Alexi, he says he recommends people to do it AM, PM for, again, the word compliance. Compliance means follow through. It means you're going to do what you say you do, what you're supposed to do to get the result. So if you dibble dabble, you're not going to get a result. So he said, you know, because we are all creatures of habit, you know, we get up early, we go to work, we sit in traffic, we come home at night. There are 2 consistent times that people can usually think about it: in the morning after the shower and at night before they brush their teeth. However, many people are experiencing an interruption and a dysregulation in sleep at night. Knowing that it lasts 4 to 6 hours, let's just put our common sense hat on and go, oh, well, let me put it on in the morning before I leave, and let me put it on later in the afternoon, 6 hours later, and then it won't interfere with my sleep at night. And we still want to get 2 times a day. If you're doing a lot, people are thinking more double dosing. That doesn't work for a lot of people. That could be way too much. So bring it down. Less is more. Okay, so great. So great. You guys are doing really good. Would you recommend blood work before you go on the gel to see where your levels are and follow up blood work months later? If so, what kind of blood work would you recommend your doctor to do? Thank you, from Teresa. Who would like to take that?
I can take that.
All right, Dr. Kathy?
All right, so it depends again on what you're trying to treat. If you're fine and you just want some increase in your energy, no, you don't need no blood work. But if you have ailments, let's say again, one of the worst ones, of course, are the cancer markers and stuff. So you can do markers, you can do testosterone, you can do IGF-1, you can do growth hormone. Now, growth hormone is typically made at night, all right? So during the day, your growth hormone levels are low. So you're going to see a variation in the levels depending whether it's a morning draw or a night draw. You can do saliva testing for night draws, but the actuality is that your blood levels depend on your ailment. So you have to see a doctor that understands hormones, or at least has an idea of what to test for. But the simplest thing is IGF-1, growth hormone, testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. I did see a question on progesterone there. So that's the basic panel I would recommend for patients.
I want to also add to this, Dr. Kathy, thank you for that. I think there's always 2 sides of the coin, and Dr. Stephanie and I have a conversation around this topic quite often, which is there is a reality that there's a large portion of today's population that are stuck in sickness. They're dealing with real health issues. But then there is this transition from sickness to health to enhancement to optimization. And so, you know, my vision for humanity is that sickness really doesn't have to be part of our vernacular. We are designed, our systems are designed to be able to exist and thrive and function in peak and optimal performance. And so I believe that, you know, if there are any health challenges or complaints, just like Dr. Kathy said, absolutely measure those existing values. Typically, you can always get a lot of information from just a comprehensive metabolic panel. That's some foundational stuff that's going to show you things like, what's your blood sugar like? Get an A1C so you understand how your body's metabolizing glucose. Could there be insulin issues? It's going to look at how your liver's functioning, your gallbladder, your kidneys, so some basic key organs, right? You can also get what's called a CBC. That is really looking at your immune system. So those are just some foundational markers. Obviously, if you want to start to scale into hormones, you can look at thyroid. So you can look at T3 free and T4 free. You can get crazy with blood work, you guys. You can look at a whole bunch of stuff. So that really is a conversation, like Dr. Kathy said, that you probably want to have with your provider to determine what is most preferred for you based on the outcomes, whether you're in sickness, trying to get back to health, or you're at health looking to enhance and optimize. We look at different metrics depending on where you're at. Dr. Stephanie.
Yeah, I'll just add in, like, I agree with Dr. Kathy. You really should need to be working with whatever medical provider, whatever physician that you're working with on, if you're working with something. Somebody comes to me and I'm always running, if you got a hormone issue, you're getting a Dutch panel in my office, end of story. We're gonna run full thyroid panel. This is just how it is. I don't know unless I see. I don't know what to do, right? So, but to get on the gel, I wouldn't think a person needs to spend a dime on a lab by any means, any way, shape, or form. You know, it's just not necessary at all. I don't need that clinically. I can assess in a number of ways that are, you don't have to spend any money. Again, we can do bioimpedance, you can do blood pressure. There's a whole bunch of other markers that we mentioned we can do. So unless you have money you want to just keep throwing around on labs, I don't think they're necessary unless you're already getting those labs as a part of a comprehensive care plan with your doctor that somebody has recommended.
I love it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we have a really big question. This comes up quite often. So let's see who wants to take this. This is, I get the IGF-1 question a great deal. IGF-1, okay, is really that saying, hey, this can promote tumor growth, which is a huge risk for cancer. IGF-1 increases also can be indicated with doping or enhancing performance, which can get, you know, professional athletes kicked out. So the question is, I get the IGF-1 question a great deal, promoting tumor growth, etc. How to answer that? Thank you for this outstanding presentation. A replay would be wonderful. Okay, so who wants to handle the IGF-1 conversation?
I have to start off with IGF levels vary again on the patient and the disease. So I have patients that come in that have high IGF levels from the beginning, from the get-go. So you have to understand it depends on the patient. Each person's IGF level varies. So get a baseline if you want to, but it all depends on what you're trying to do. I have patients that really, really focus more on, like you said, general well-being, and they do not need levels. But when you have someone that is very sick, that wants results, that has specialists that are watching like a hawk, you have to be careful because you can get into trouble when a patient starts something new and they don't have medical doctors approving it. So you want to be a little bit more careful when it comes to sick, very sick patients.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr.
John, answer this question.
Wax, I'd like to hear from you on this
Yeah.
because you know, as a professional athlete, you've really got a lot that you can add to this.
No, I don't know if I'm a professional athlete.
Well, you're
you're a wannabe.
I'm a
wannabe. I do the best I can. I just keep going out and showing up and you know, I don't want to give up on life. So I just go out there and compete to the best of my ability. But when I was out in Florida, actually you and I, went up to Alexi, the creator of this, and we specifically asked the question, and I needed to know the answer because as some of my team are professional athletes, professional fighters, people that compete, they need to know, is a product like this going to get them into trouble? Remember where this product was created and why. Alexi is very good friends with the Gracie family of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which anybody that's ever watched the UFC understands when the fight goes to the ground, it's grappling, it's wrestling, and a lot of it is jiu-jitsu. It was created because the owner of this company is very close friends with the family that created that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And the goal was to have those athletes come off of injectables and have a product to help restore and repair and optimize performance. The goal was never for them to go above super physiological levels. So the goal here is to move the needle somewhere between 1 and 4, 1 and 5%. It's not going to show up positive according to the owner, and because he's been testing this for years and years and years. So it will move the needle a little bit, but it's not going to move the needle a lot. And again, there's a half-life. That means it's going to be absorbed, so the body uses what it needs, and that's it within a few hours. So it's not sitting in the fat of the tissue like an injectable would. So it's sitting there and building up its levels. So you get what you need, your body absorbs it, and then it's done. So according to what you and I have discovered in talking to the creator, it should not show up and as a positive test or a problem finding for anybody.
Yeah, excellent, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Wax. And I do know that they said, you know, there was a variety of different studies done showing that there was about a 1% increase, but it's just a natural level, right? Because again, the signals, and like you said, it doesn't sit in the body. It's not amplifying the signal. Your body uses it, has a short half-life, it's there, it's gone, and it's homeopathic, so it's signaling versus replacing, and the body's only going to make what it needs, which is really nice about that. So to the question that was asked, and to reiterate Dr. Kathy's point as well as Dr. Wax, it works in concert with your body. And so if you already have cancer, should you use this product? That's going to be a personal choice. It is shown as safe and effective. The only contraindication as listed by the company is if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. So because it is a microdose, because it is just a signal, it is not hormone replacement therapy, it is not large dosing, it is shown to be safe and effective, working in concert with the body's natural needs. However, this is a very personal decision that people must make, and it is, I still believe, as a health provider, an important conversation that they would have with their health provider. And I've heard a lot of different, a lot of different outcomes with this, meaning some people say, yes, I'm doing it because I have heard others, and I've read testimonials of people that had prostate cancer, and they started to use this, and their prostate cancer is gone. This doesn't cure. This doesn't treat at all. But when you give the body back essential components that it needs to function optimally so that it can actually repair, heal, and thrive, then it can repair, heal, and thrive. So, it comes down to a personal decision. I wanted to make sure that we addressed that. Another point that I need to bring up super quickly, and then I've got a few more. Yes, Dr. Green, please. Oh, you're on.
No, I had to go get my book. This is Dr. Mark Goring, because the question was about growth hormone and causing cancer and everything else. So I'm going to try not to get too technical, but growth hormone goes to the liver and it releases IGF-1. IGF-1 has a half-life. It stays in our system for about 10 minutes, but it has a binding protein. There's about 6 binding proteins. One of them is binding protein number 3. It grabs IGF-1 and basically increases the half-life to almost 24 hours. But there's this beautiful molecule called P53 that's inside the nuclei of all cells. So when the cells mutate, and they're about to mutate, everybody's worried about, well, oh my goodness, we're on growth hormone, so that's gonna grow all the cancer cells. P53 increases in this setting of a cell mutating. P53 increases this binding protein, which grabs the insulin-like growth factor, which is the byproduct of growth hormone, and it stops it in its tracks. P53 is actually as my favorite doc, Dr. Mark Gordon, who wrote this incredible book, Traumatic Brain Injury, et cetera, he calls himself an interventional endocrinologist, and he basically says, unfortunately, the maximum benefit from P53 as the most important anti-cancer mechanisms in all our cells is lost. But the whole point is that because we have these safety mechanisms, that's why growth hormone doesn't cause cancer. Growth hormone increases IGF-1. IGF-1, you got a binding protein. If something goes wrong, that P53 goes up. Binding protein grabs all the insulin growth factors, so it doesn't grow, it doesn't mutate, et cetera, et cetera. So it's scientific, I know that, but there's data that supports all of this stuff. There's data out there, you just got to find it. But again, like Doc Stephanie was saying, you don't need all this detail right now. You got to alleviate the fears, which is fine, but if they want to have the workup, then Dr. Catherine, myself, and all the other docs, sure, we'll get some lab work on you, but you don't need it. But I have a burning question. How is it that John can sit in that position for an hour and a half? I almost feel like there's a cutout of John and he's watching he's somewhere else. How is that, John? You have literally, are you meditating or something? I can't
I'm in the best massage chair that they make right now. I wish.
It's amazing. I'm just amazed watching you not move.
I love it. And, you know, I'm glad you just brought him back on camera, because John is who I was going to next, because the other big series of questions that we're getting here in the thread is saying I'm not a doctor. How do I approach medical providers? Somebody was saying I have approached quite a few in my area. All have turned me down. But I see
because they're stupid.
Because doctors
don't. Just keep going.
They're missing out.
Go on the street to the naturopaths, go to the chiropractors, go to the people that are actually, the doctors are actually going to listen. Dr. Catherine and I think we're actually unique in that we actually think outside traditionally trained docs. You have to understand that my colleagues, please let me answer this. My colleagues who I've trained with, as well as I'm sure Catherine trained with, we have this mentality that if we don't know the answer, it must be crap, which is ridiculous. Basically, I've spent my first half of my career, my first training was learning traditional medicine. I spent the last 15, 20 years learning all the other stuff, meaning I've tried to learn as much naturopathic, homeopathic, went to a homeopathic class, lecture in Orlando 3-4 years ago. I felt like I was on a different planet, the way they were talking. I'm like, I was fascinated, but they're talking a language that I never even understood. Rules of similars and physics, all this, I didn't know, but I learned it. And then, so this has all been wonderful. It's nice to learn all this stuff. So unfortunately, the answer to your question is if you're going to a traditionally medically trained doc, John even talked about, John made a career out of going to us docs who feel that because we have an MD, we must know business too, which we don't. I've made more mistakes than I made good decisions. And we need somebody, the smart ones will hire somebody like John, or the reason why I know Melissa is because I hired Melissa as my consultant, because I don't know business. I don't know everything. And so it's unfortunate that if you have a doc, what I would do is with the medical docs, see if they're doing anti-aging, see if they're doing hormone therapy, see if they're doing something that neurofeedback. Go on their website and see exactly what they're doing, because if it's just traditional medicine, it's probably going to be a no. It's go to the providers that actually are more in tune to real medicine. So that's my advice, and that's coming from I'm the enemy, so I'm telling you how it is.
Thank you, Dr. Green. I wouldn't quite call you the enemy,
right from the heart.
That's a great perspective. But John, I'd love to hear it from your perspective as a rep, because you have walked into providers' offices over the years, not only with this product, but with many and you've gotten no's. So what's some great advice or recommendation for, you know, our people that are not doctors, but they're a rep, or they want to make this their business to be a rep? How can you help them with that?
I think it's very similar to how we're building this type of business anyway. Honestly, it's a numbers type of thing. You know, it's going to take, you may have to go into, you know, 20 offices to get 4 or 5 to take a listen. But most importantly, it is before you walk in that door, find out what that practice is doing. Just like Dr. Kevin said, find out, you know, I know so many times we get really enthusiastic about the product and all the things it can do. And we just want to run straight forward and just, you know, regurgitate as much as possible. Instead, we need to go in and put our consultant hat on and to ask questions. And you can do a lot of, you know, consulting before you even walk in the door by finding out, you know, who is this that you're going to talk to? What's the, you know, what kind of practice is it? What kind of med spa is it? What are, you know, maybe what are their services they're offering? And then when you go in, you're most likely going to get a gatekeeper. You're going to get the person in the front. You know, I'd recommend you asking around your friends first. You know, doctors, like Dr. Kevin was mentioned, do you know any anti-aging docs? Do you know any doctors that are, you know, doing a little more cash-based services that are wanting to, you know, find out through your friends and get introductions that way. Because, you know, though the relationship marketing is key to this. So if you're just cold calling on somebody, which is very possible, expect to go back many times if you want to get the business. And do a good job by, you know, doing your research on the front end and going in and asking, you know, questions, you know, find out, you know, and I think that benefit sheet is great, you know, when you find out, you know, what services they're offering. And sometimes I'll just, you know, show that to somebody at the front desk and say, hey, you know, I'm not sure if you heard about this HGH gel, you know, and do you have patients that come in that present some of the concerns that, you know, the relief of these benefits on here, does this, you know, is this something that, you know, you see a lot of? And then, so you're asking these questions to get that, even that front desk person's going to perk up when they say, wait a minute, something that helps me sleep better. So, you know, you want to become their friend first if you're just doing a cold call, because it's very difficult to get to the decision maker on a first visit if it's just.
And from my own personal experience, I still remember when I got first introduced to autonomic nervous system testing, ANS testing, which we learned in, Catherine, you'll agree, we learned this for like an hour in med school, but it was the neatest, it's one of the neatest machines I've ever purchased. I still remember though, it was a sheet that was on my desk. And like you said before, John, running around, trying to pay bills, trying to basically see all the patients, because we're in the insurance world. And it was basically, how would you like, are you interested in increasing your bottom line, your revenue by, and it wasn't some big number, $1 million. It was, how would you like to increase your revenue by $47,000 while providing excellent medical care with, and then they talked about how it was approved. It's something like that. I mean, Melissa and I have had multiple conversations on how to basically get out. I think that the docs are getting through their thick skulls is the biggest challenge. But honestly, if you just say FDA registered, start off with that. And I said this on my last call last week is, it's not just docs, but it's everybody. I mean, you're promoting excellent health. You have, how would you like to increase your bottom line with an FDA approved human growth hormone, FDA registered human growth hormone, while making your patients feel better? Something as simple like that, call me. It's not intrusive, it's not, but it's going to pique their interest. In other words, you know, you gotta, these docs are also, you also want to go, let me back up. You actually want to go to the private docs, because the docs that are owned by the hospitals, forget it. So you really do have to do your research, because the docs that are owned by a hospital or a big group, they have no say in what they bring into their office. They don't have the power to do that. They'd have to get the approval from up above. So it's really the private docs, which unfortunately I'm one of them. They're far and few between out there. But if you do find that private doc out there, chances are they're struggling and they're looking for they're looking for something to bring into their practice. And this is a home run. You're bringing in something that's going to increase revenue, It's a great product. You're improving health. It goes to everybody who's out there who doesn't let's get away from the medical world. How would you like to just, I mean, John, let me ask you, well, you're in the medical field, but isn't it great to promote a product that you're one of the, I can't remember the name of I don't know if he's a Diamond Ambassador, but the gentleman from Jersey who came to Granby, he said that he sold green energy through an MLM before SOMADERM. So that's great. You're selling green energy. You're helping the earth. But now you're selling growth hormone. Now you're actually selling something that's making people feel good. As I said last week to all my other people that I brought in, I said, welcome to my world. It's a great feeling to actually help people out. Now you're going to be able to share it with me, because you're not just selling a product. You're not selling you're selling health. You're selling good health. And we've all experienced it personally. So if you're going to hit up a doc, look for the private docs, do your research like you just said, maybe entice them a little bit with saying how it's FDA registered and it is human growth hormone, because any doc who knows growth hormone will be like, wait, human growth hormone, it's now available? What are you talking about? And at least it may generate a call.
Yeah, and just, I would just say to add to that, if you've got local events, keep those people in the office on your invite list. It's, once again, it's exposure. Tonight I sent out some text and there were, several practices that I hadn't heard from in a while, and 2 replied, said, okay, I'm going to jump on the call. So, it takes time, so I think that's what we all don't necessarily always have the patience, because quick fix society, just like this product, this is, over time, things are going to get better. And the more that you repeat and stay consistent with using the product, doing this effort of reaching out to those people to invite them, that's going to make a difference, and you're going to grow little by little.
John, the dermatologist that I see that you've got, really nice guy, and they're doing that procedure on you. What was your approach there? Was it more the collagen wrinkles thing? Because I didn't know. Somebody came up to me and said, if you promote the collagen, how it increases collagen and gets rid of wrinkles, you're taking away another part of their business. Well, you're in aesthetics. I mean, so how did you approach the dermatologist? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing when you have an aesthetic practice, the biggest thing is people come in and invest a lot of dollars in a service procedure. Well, how do they protect that investment? If they're going to go home and use some product from CVS that doesn't really have the type of ingredients that are going to protect their investment, this is just a similar type of thing. This is going to complement what they're already doing in the office. So when you have, an HGH gel that can do a litany of benefits, it really does just add to that doctor's results. And at the end of the day, that doctor needs referrals. That practice wants to have other, patients come in. That doctor that you're referring to, very, very well-known hair loss dermatologist, he had actually had a hip replacement surgery. And so we were doing some acoustic wave with him. And then, one of his nurses had she'd also worked at my practice, been hit last March from behind by a truck and was in severe pain. And I didn't even realize this until I saw her about 2 months ago when we talked about this. And I said, well, have you heard about this? And she said, I'll try anything. And I saw her, and I have her video too. I guess it was about 10 days after being on the gel, and 90% of her discomfort, remain compliant here. Her severe discomfort that she had not walked stairs. She had gone and walked like 5 to 10 stairs. She didn't want to overdo it that day. But she had a remarkable event, and result that quickly. And so now half the practice is the doctors, the nurses, they're all wanting to, of course, get on the gel. And the next step is offering it to their patients, hopefully.
And I want to just take a moment. I want to point out a few things. Yeah, I like to do housekeeping. I like to make sure that, we're all kind of hearing some of these critical points. So, right now the discussion is, how do we really go out there and approach doctors, approach people, period, about this? And the most important thing that you all were hearing, and I want to just take it to a succinct point, is value. You want to be able to understand the need of the person that you are potentially approaching. So you heard Dr. Green talk about one of the things that caught his attention from a rep was they left a note, on their marketing materials with a very specific question that directly appealed to a solution he was interested in having in his practice. And, you know, in Michael and I, in our practice, we were so busy all the time, as most of us are. It doesn't matter what type of business we own. If you are working, your days are full, right? And it's hard sometimes to take in unexpected meetings. So just because you drop in, you can look your best, you can sound your best, doesn't mean, and you could be the most amazing person, doesn't mean that the doctor, the business owner, the person has time to meet with you. And so I had some of the most amazing reps. And the only reason I ended up buying with them, because I did not have time for meetings with reps. I just didn't. I didn't want to hear their whole product line. I didn't want to hear everything. I just didn't have time for it. But what stood out to me, I had two that would always leave me one key piece of material. They might leave me, one would leave me a sample, but they'd always leave a handwritten note. A handwritten note about something specific as to why they were leaving that piece of literature in the office for me to look at. And I would, and 9 times out of 10, they hit a home run, and I would pick up the phone and say, okay, so-and-so, let's have a lunch meeting. Let's meet over lunch. And they're like, I'm gonna treat you. I'm like, great, feed me, talk to me, sell me, and then I gotta get back to seeing patients. So if you have somebody, just think, make it personal, connect, and it doesn't matter who that provider is. And don't be afraid to go back and follow up and truly build relationships and rapport. So hopefully that was really helpful. We've got just a few.
I want to make a comment real quickly, Melissa. Yes. So, you know, I have a network of a few hundred physician practices all over the state, and I, you know, in terms of my network, and it always depends on where you catch them. And I do think leveraging relationships and really making sure that you understand the product and your audience is key. A lot of people in these industries wind up knowing very little, doing very little research, and just coming out with everything to a professional who's taken years to know their craft, and they actually shoot holes in your presentation very quickly. So if you're not prepared to talk to somebody at that level, don't immediately go there. Know your craft, do your background, ask questions, get a doctor like myself or any of the other doctors on a panel for a quick discussion, and then third party them, bring them in on a call. If they're your upline or they're part of your team, utilize them. Don't overutilize them, but utilize them in a quick call. One of the people that I've never met before, that somewhere in our downline, asked me to speak to a pain management doctor who is in Pennsylvania. We did this call maybe 2 or 3 weeks. They may be on the call now. Great guy, really interested in this. Couldn't be more of a nice personality. We did a 3-way call. It lasted actually longer than I think we anticipated, because we had a lot of common foundational elements that were similar, because I grew up in Pennsylvania as well. So we probably spent 45 minutes on the call. At the end of the call, he goes, "What do you think I should do, Michael?" I said, simply stated, start using the product, and then you can judge for yourself. Then you can decide what you want to do. And that was it. And so the people that are on the call listening, how do you talk to a provider? You talk to them with intelligence, but just like a friend, but you want to come with some facts and some figures. And if you don't know those, don't immediately go to the highest level provider that you can find thinking you're going to sway them. Start with your friends and the people that know you, just to get your conversation down. Then you can start to elevate to a higher level provider.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wax. Okay, a couple more things. Let's see. Where did it just go? This was important. I feel like we said it, but let's just kind of bring this one together. Can someone please explain the difference between bioidentical and the gel? Who wants to take that one real quick? All right, Dr. Kathy, quickly give it to us.
All right, so in summary, the bioidentical gel is the actual hormone, right, made from plants. So it's going to suppress, like Stephanie said, your hormone axis. So you're actually replacing your ability to make that hormone. So you cannot make that hormone much anymore. Unlike the gel, which is actually, like you said, a trigger, a signal to wake up your own organs and repair, or let's say attempt to repair, attempt to heal, attempt to improve the function of your organs. So the difference is one will turn off your hormone axis, one will actually trigger your hormone axis.
I like that. So, and this is really important, you guys. Again, medications, especially when it comes to hormones, the idea is here's what's quote unquote normal. You get your blood labs back and it says, oh, you're down here. So the idea is to say, we're going to give you a medicine to fill this entire gap. So instead of saying, instead of asking the question, well, why isn't your body making natural levels? What can we do to stimulate the hormone pathways? How can we get your body, because your body will make hormones on its own. Given the right conditions, it's designed to do that. But instead of saying, let's turn the body back on, they just say, we don't have time for that. And you're here and you're suffering and we love and care about you because we're your doctor and we want to give you the one solution we have, which is a script. And that script is going to fill this gap and bring you back up here where you are quote unquote supposed to be based on a number on a lab. And so that's what even bioidenticals do. They help to fill the gap. But what you just heard Dr. Kathy say is, in essence, that turns off your hormone axis because it's not stimulating your body to produce its own. It's just assuming that your body can't make it anymore, so it's going to do the work for your body. The gel, as a homeopathic delivery system, stimulates. It is a micro dose, the smallest amount that is delivered into the system to say, hey, pituitary, we're here, make more. Put us to work and make what you need. So it signals and actually turns on the body's own production. So hopefully that will help you all. So does that mean I lower the cortisol in your body from tired adrenal glands, from using testosterone, etc.? I think it's super important, gang, really quickly, when it comes to testosterone, this is a whole other, you know, we really should probably have a doctor's panel one night where we really talk to you guys about hormone pathways. But the easiest way I can help you guys to understand is sex hormones are reproductive, right? So we have sex hormones to reproduce. Stress hormones are fight or flight. Stress hormones are survival. When your body is in stress, and stress is stress to the brain, whether it's sitting in traffic or saber-toothed tiger, if it perceives it as a threat to the system, then you're going to be releasing large amounts of cortisol. And as we continue to do that, to keep you alive trumps everything else. Meaning, in simple words, your sex hormones, just we look at my fist, pretend that your sex hormone pathways are over here, your adrenal pathways are up here, and they trump everything and they shunt any hormones that would be going down there to stay here, because it's more important to keep you alive than to make babies. That's it. So if you guys are tired all the time and you're having adrenal issues, there's a lot of things that could be out of balance in your system, depending on how severe it is. I really do encourage you to go see an amazing integrative or functional medicine provider like you're seeing on the panels today. And they can really help to take a more comprehensive look at your system and give you better answers. This product, at least, helps to start putting back in some of the foundational hormonal signals that are often lacking and missing because we're living in chronic stress. Okay. What else do we got? What else we got? Gotcha. Thank you. You guys are welcome. We are super excited. Lots of questions on where's the replay going to be. The replay will be up in Gel Success Stories on Facebook. It is now a public Facebook group. Also, we have a private Facebook group only for distributors called Soma Success Team, and it will also be up there. That is our private Facebook group dedicated to NewULife distributors that really want to, you're really committed to growing your business. You want to learn marketing, you want to learn business, you want to learn strategy, you want to be inspired, you want to be motivated. So Soma Success Team on Facebook, you got to be a distributor to get in that one, or Gel Success Stories if you are not yet a distributor. Would it be appropriate to share this recording with practitioners? You know, I think there's, Cindy, what I'll say to you is absolutely. You know, let people, we all need the information. This is a long recording tonight. So some practitioners may not want to invest an hour and a half. So I would suggest to you to already, if there are key things that really stood out to you tonight, you know, maybe grab your bullets. What are the pearls that you guys took away from tonight that you feel that you could quickly and succinctly share with practitioners? I will also say over on getthegeltraining.com. There's actually a really great call with Dr. Wax and Lisa Vivori, who will be here next week. And that's it's a much shorter call. And I think he does a phenomenal job talking as a doctor to why another doctor may want to enjoy this opportunity. So that's a shorter one that you could probably get them to commit to watching that. And don't forget what was said, you guys can always get on a three-way call. If you've got somebody that's interested, you don't feel like you know all the information yet, but you really believe this would be a valuable accoutrement to their practice, to their business, and just say, hey, I'd love to get you on a call with, you know, Dr. Kevin Green, Dr. Michael Wax, Dr. Stephanie Rimka, you know, Dr. Kathy, like they are some of the leaders out there using this. Let me get you on a call with them. If we're in your upline, you know, give us a holler. And if we're not directly in your upline, whoever has brought you guys in or who you're talking to, find out. I know there's doctors on your team, so find out who you've got as resources for you guys.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Melissa, is that in my own last 6 weeks, talk about it. Talk about it. It's amazing to me, places that I never thought I would have avenues or leads come out of nowhere. You just talk to people. If they're interested, you talk to them about it. So you know that I went after that big gym, and I went after this 19 chain gym because I'm like, could be in every one of their gyms, and let me get to the owners and run into roadblocks. So what I did was I have a personal trainer at the gym. He's a 22-year-old kid. He beats the crap out of me, but he's a great kid with working out. Started telling him about the gel. He starts telling about all the stuff that all the trainers, all the bad stuff that they're thinking about and researching and trying to get and this. I said, well, that's the SARMs, these new products that are out there. And it was like, I go, well, I can tell you right now, none of those have been filed by the FDA. So let's start there. Secondly, why don't you get all your friends together and have them come see me on the 28th, and I'll tell you all about it. But then he goes, now I've been at this gym now for 2 months, and he goes, I've been seeing the same guy every morning, big buff guy. And he goes, yeah, see that guy over there in the blue? He goes, well, he owns 3 vitamin stores. He drives that, whatever that car is outside. He goes, and he's building in that space next to our gym, his next vitamin store. He goes, he's probably somebody you want to talk to. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, there's a great lead. And then one of my patients, my son's baseball coach, I was telling you, just told him about the gel and, you know, this and that. And he goes, oh, my wife's going to come see you. Well, what does she do? She's a beach body consultant. And I'm like, oh. And it turns out that she's in her own MLM, and she's basically struggling with that. She has 30 people underneath her. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even going to, I mean, this is the end of the day. This is a 6:30 p.m. visit. I just want to get home. It's really just talk about it. You would be shocked at what the leads that you get by just talking about it. It's a great thing to talk about how you feel. And next thing you know, you got leads. I mean, it's really just get out there and talk about it. Eric Worre talks about it. You know, just talk to people about it. Get 2 people a day. You'd be shocked. And that's what I'm seeing.
So I just got a text. I didn't realize that we were supposed to wrap this, like hard wrap at 90 minutes. So we've definitely gone over tonight, gang.
Doctor.
I don't know. I've been trying to be so good with the time.
It's a marathon, 24 hours.
Right?
Right.
The main stuff. I'm really impressed though, gang, because we hit the main stuff my goal was an hour. We were like an hour and 8 minutes. And so we've been going through questions and you know, taking this additional 45 minutes. But I hope that this has been really helpful to all of you tuning in.
The karaoke machine. We're going to stop. She just
the karaoke machine.
Oh, put it away. We're wrapping up.
Next time. So listen, I want to personally thank, we had well over 100 attendees tonight. Take the time to be here, to learn from our panel of experts. And I can't thank you all enough for just really investing your time in exploring the possibilities for yourself, for your own physical health, your financial health, and again, wherever you're at on the spectrum. You know, there will be more of these series. Again, the replay will be up in Gel Success Stories and Soma Success Team. Both of those are on Facebook. I typed it in the thread. Some of you were asking again about just some more resources. Again, marketing that we discussed tonight was getthegelmarketing.com. It's in the chat. Getthegeltraining.com, and you know, keep your eye out. There's going to be so many more of these, a variety of different moderators. Lisa Vivori is dedicated. She is a Diamond Ambassador. We are really grateful to have her really kind of over all of these people that you're seeing on the panel tonight and helping to build excellence. And that's what this team's all about. We bring marketing, we bring training, we bring expertise, and we're so happy that you guys were all here tonight. Any follow-up questions, ask them inside of those groups, and keep your eye out for the next invite and the next amazing panel coming your way. Doctors, to each of you, thank you all for being here tonight. John, thank you for representing all of our medical reps out there and the med spa industry and aesthetic industry. We're so glad you were here as well. And again, you guys go out there, just